Welcome to the Massacre Matinee.
Before we get into today's episode, I just had some good news. We are officially on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts, so feel free to share the links with your friends. They'll be in the description.
Carl.
Do you want me to leave that in?
Yes, all of this is staying in. I love it. All right. Hi, guys. Welcome to another matinee. Oh, bitch, I got one for you.
Yeah?
It's not as much of a doozy as you slapped on us last week.
Do we need the doozy scale? I feel like we should keep the doozy scale.
This is a doozy scale.
Okay. Okay.
Poll will be down below. But this one, because we have this, like, kind of idea that we're going to do, like, a rapid fire episode and everything like that. Because we kind of have a lot of shorter episodes. And I was looking for one to do, because I only, like, the ones I have, like, could kind of go either way. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to find one really good, spicy, short one. And I went to look for it, and then I found this case, and this case is just so much of, like, what did I just read that I have to share it.
Yeah, we were texting back and forth trying to figure out what we were gonna do for this week, and I was originally thinking, oh well, we can each just find like 2 super short ones,
Yeah.
and she texted me back later on in the night, and she's like, so there's this one I want to do, but it's not as short as I thought it was.
No. It's so bad to the point. Oh, Nugget, that went everywhere.
That's what she does.
Yep, just
That's what she
catnip everywhere. All right.
does. In order to keep the cats quiet, we had to give them kitty weed.
Yeah.
And now she's flopped.
Yeah, it's
flop.
the gift that I have most graciously gifted to them, and is literally a brand of catnip called Meowawana, and it is the best.
Meowawana should only be used in legal states. Just kidding. There's no actual weed in it. It's just catnip.
It's catnip. It's just a
It's
funny
just catnip.
name.
I grow catnip in the front yard. It's just easier to buy it.
Yeah, because then it's already dried out.
Well, I do dry it once a year, but I mean,
Yeah.
they're little catweed stoners. So
So this one, it's one of those cases where you're like, oh man, like I know where this is going. This can't get any worse. And then it's just like,
and then it's like
psych.
Oh, no.
So this is the story of Catherine Knight. I'm not gonna be honest.
I'm not gonna be honest.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna switch between calling her Catherine and Knight just because that's kind of how the article I read, like, kind of went. And it's
Between
just
using the first name and the last name
yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah. But for note's sake, it's just really faster to write down Knight than it is Catherine.
Catherine.
It's Catherine.
Did it have how to pronounce the name?
Yeah, it's actually Catherine.
Oh.
And that's what really fucked me up, because I went to go write Catherine. I'm like, shit, it's Catherine.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. It might be Catherine. I don't know. I'm just assuming it's Catherine, because it just...
Let's just go with Knight. So Miss Knight.
Yeah, so Miss Knight. Oh, man. So she was born October 24th, 1955. In Australia. This is a down under case.
I am not doing an accent.
No, I am not either, but it is...
I can do a lot of accents. That's not one of them.
No. Every time I do it, it just turns into like a New Zealand accent. They're very similar. So she was actually born of the result of an affair between her mom and her father. Her mom had already, like, was with a her husband, had 3 kids, had an affair with Knight's dad.
Oh, okay. So her mom was cheating on her family.
Yeah.
And made an oopsie.
Yeah, and then she left her
Not an
husband
oopsie,
and went with her father and kind of like started a new life. Her father was a pretty violent alcoholic. And little warning, sexual assault and rape is mentioned in this part. It's only a little bit of a warning. This is your kind of, if you're squeamish about that and kind of triggered by it, this is your warning to maybe skip ahead or just not watch or listen to the episode. He basically raped her mom like every single day, multiple times a day. And then up until the age that night was 11, she had also been sexually assaulted by him and then various other family members.
So so from like birth until 11,
yeah,
she was getting molested?
Basically, yeah. And I'm really kind of going into her backstory because this one kind of makes it seem... I'm not going to say it makes it make sense because it doesn't, but it kind of like... It leads up to it, so you kind of have to get into it. So because of that, she was kind of, an interesting child growing up. When she was in school, like, the only thing that she cared about was terrorizing the smaller kids and bullying them and just, like, doing anything to make them scream and, like, be afraid of her. And then when she was 15, she was like, you know what? I'm kind of tired of this school thing. And quit school. And by that point, I mean, when you're 15, that's about, like, what, freshman year?
If you assume that you're 18 when you graduate.
Yeah.
I think it's freshman year.
Yeah, it's about freshman year.
I was 17 when I graduated. But only for 2 weeks. I was, like, just before the cutoff. And Drew was, like, just after the cutoff. So I graduated in 2010 and he graduated in 2011.
Oh, okay. She never learned how to read or write. And she left school at the age of 15. So I don't know if she got held back.
How did she get that far into school without learning how to read or write?
I don't know. I don't know. But she had quit school and decided, you know what, I'm gonna go work in a clothing factory, and just, like, instantly went to work. But a year later, she landed what she called her dream job, and I want you to take a guess of what her dream job was.
Well, is Ms. Knight the bad guy in today's story?
Yes.
I bet you it was like a butcher shop.
Oh, you are so good. She got a job at 16 at a slaughterhouse.
Ah, close.
Oh, I mean, it was a slaughterhouse, and then it also had, like, a butcher shop front.
Right.
So it was, like...
So, like, mom and pop butcher shop, but
yeah.
Australian style.
Yeah.
Did they have kangaroos?
I don't know.
Well, you're supposed to be researching this.
Research is the one that she worked at, like, butchered kangaroos.
We need to be thorough.
I think they eat kangaroos.
I don't know.
I don't know.
We don't know anybody in Australia, so I'm going to Google this after. But if you're listening to this and you know.
Yeah.
Editing Ari here. Many Australian supermarkets do actually stock various cuts of kangaroo meat, including steaks, minced meat, also known as ground beef, and kangabangas, which are kangaroo sausages. A lot of restaurants actually serve kangaroo meat, and it has been exported from Australia since 1959. Fun fact.
Future Ari, thank you. So, she, like, her whole life works at this job. And she loved her job so much that she got her first really nice set of butcher knives. And butcher knives, like, a nice set. They're expensive.
Oh, I know. I've got some.
Yeah. And she's like, you know what? The perfect place for this? I'm going to hang them above my bed in case she ever wanted to use them.
Okay, mine are not above my bed. They're in my kitchen.
Where they belong.
Like, I actually got them when I was working at one of the restaurants I was at. So I used to bring them to and from work with me all the time.
Dude, so I would love a good set of butcher knives.
Like, I'm not link to the ones I got. They're decent, like, but the handles are a little loose.
Teddy does enough smoking of, like, meats and ribs and stuff like that like, I want to get him a nice set of butcher knives, but he's so picky with knives. Then I don't know.
we'll talk about it later. Anyway,
anyway.
she's got this really nice set of butcher knives
Yeah,
that she's
she's just,
hanging up
like-
above the bed.
Yeah,
because
just
that's
so
a real
proud
nice
that she got
fuckable
them for
piece.
herself and just...
I just have this, like, fear
Of them
like,
falling?
yeah, like, have you ever seen those things where it's like it's probably in, like, horror movies or some shit where it's like the old-timey axes hanging above the mantelpiece.
Oh my
and
god,
then
it's
one
like
of them swings down.
Final Destination
yeah,
shit.
Yeah, like, that just seems like a nightmare on its own.
So, she's at work one day, and she's like, you know what, there's a cute guy kind of across the slaughterhouse. I wonder what his name is. And, like, you know, goes over, talks to him, and is like, oh, his name is David Kellett. I think that's how you say the last name.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, sounds about right. She very clearly had a type, and that type was a replica of her father because he was a alcoholic who loved getting into drunken fist fights. And the thing that was like, that got him to be like, you know what? This is my dream woman. I'm gonna be with this girl, was the fact that he was in a drunken fight and she pushed him out of the way, not to be like, oh, you need to stop fighting. She just
pushed him out of the way,
pushed
and,
him
like,
out of the
beat the
way
shit out of the guy?
and started beating the crap out of the dude that he was already beating the crap out of. And he was like, oh my god, this woman's for me.
She could stand up for herself.
Yeah. Like, so she was also drunk and just
and
started
I'll
fucking
admit
beating the
that's-
shit out of this dude.
I'll admit that's kind of romantic, I guess.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
she'll fight for me.
Well, yeah, well, him being impressed with the fact that she could beat the shit out of a dude didn't last long because at some point really soon she just started, like,
Wailing on him.
dominating him and
I was
controlling
gonna ask if
him.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
And that's what she grew up with, right?
Mhm.
Was her dad doing that. Maybe she thought that's what love was.
Yeah, that's kind of what this is like one of the cases where I really would think that she might have been born with some kind of, like, already being kind of aggressive and then just being raised in a household where it's just, like, that's the norm there, that it was just kind of, like, really just festered it.
Right.
So, in 1974, they get married. And it's crazy. She was having a good time at the wedding day. He was drunk the whole day. Like, I don't think he remembered the wedding, because he was just plastered the whole day. And her mother actually went up to David and was like, you need to be careful with her and stay on your guard because, and this is a direct quote, she has a loose screw somewhere. So even her own mother is like, you know, like,
This
be
bitch is
careful, she
crazy.
crazy. She fucking crazy. Like, and, like, her mom's been through some shit, like, with her father and everything like that. And, like, see her own daughter kind of, like, be the female version of the father and everything like that. Like, so she was just like, you need to, like, watch yourself.
Right.
And it wouldn't take them long to find out because literally that night, they consummated their marriage 3 times, which was kind of surprising because he's drunk as shit. And he fell asleep because, you know, they did it 3 fucking times.
Right.
And she wanted a 4th round, and she was pissed. Like, unbelievably pissed over the fact that he had fallen asleep, and he didn't want to go a 4th round, so she's like, you know what, fuck this, and just started strangling him.
Just that night?
And that night was just like, all right. He woke up. He was able to fight her off. She finally, like, huffed and went and rolled over went to bed. And he was just like, oh, fuck, that was weird, and went to bed.
So he wasn't even at all concerned.
No. And the marriage
she just,
lasted.
like, snapped and went there.
Yeah. And then the marriage lasted another 10 years. Even though she tried to kill him day 1. Not even day 1.
Were there more of these attempts?
I don't know.
Or was that just super significant to just, like, this bitch crazy?
The bitch crazy. Like, the fact that it happened on the wedding night just because he couldn't put out a fourth time. I don't know about you, but the fact that he was able to do it 3 times and he was drunk as shit, that's kind of impressive. Like, you go, dude, but it's like, damn.
Even the penis pill commercials say that it shouldn't last more than,
right.
like, a few hours.
Like, oh, man. So, but that doesn't stop David. David is not a good guy. He was like, you know what, this bitch crazy, and I'm gonna go find my love somewhere else, and just started cheating on her on the regular. At this point,
was that, like, early on into the marriage? Like, was he doing it, like, behind her back, or?
Yeah, I don't know at
like,
what
the
point
whole time,
this part happens in their marriage. It's just that the marriage lasted, I think, a total of 10 years.
Oh, okay.
So he was cheating on her regularly, and she ended up finding out about it. She had just given birth 2 months prior to her finding out, to their first daughter.
Okay.
And her response to finding out that her husband was cheating on her was to take her 2-month-old infant to the train tracks, put the infant on the train tracks,
No.
and try to wait for a train to come.
No.
But the train didn't come, so she got pissed, picked up the infant, went and stole an axe off of somebody's yard, and just started swinging it at people, screaming at them that her husband cheated on her and everything like that. Went home, acted like nothing fucking happened.
What if something would have happened? How would she have, like, explained that to her husband?
I don't know. She then, because of that whole incident, got checked out by a doctor. She was diagnosed with postpartum depression. I kind of think some other things should have been diagnosed there.
Maybe, yeah.
This point, David and her's relationship obviously was, like, basically over because of the fact that, like, he clearly did not want to be with her.
Right.
And she was just trying to be controlling. So she ended up in a mental institution because of threats and stuff like that. And, like, she was just the attempt with the baby and all that kind of stuff. So they were just like, you know what, we're gonna put you in here so you can kind of chill out a little bit. And then she ended up being there longer because she kept telling the nurses, because David's car had broken down, and he went to a mechanic shop and got it fixed finally now that she was gone, and she couldn't stop him from getting the car fixed. So she's telling the nurses, she's like, you know what, I'm gonna go kill that fucking mechanic that got his car fixed, because now he could leave me.
Wow. Mechanic's just doing his fucking job.
Yeah.
Like,
so at some point, she gets released. David's like, you know what? We'll try for a little bit longer. And at that point, he's like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm done. I'm leaving. So he gets the hell out of Dodge.
Peace.
She then starts dating this other dude, has a kid with him. He leaves her because she got mad at him over something. It didn't say what. She tried to stab him with scissors. So he's like, you know what, this bitch fucking crazy.
Right.
I'm leaving.
Bye.
Yeah. So she has now her third kid.
With a third different guy. I know somebody like that.
Yeah. But she did a Uno reverse card, left this dude because she cheated on him with another dude.
I know somebody like that.
And this dude's name is John Charles Prince.
Okay, I don't know anybody like that.
No.
But
so
the rest of it, the 3 different
yeah.
daddies and the cheating with the cheating with the cheating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I know somebody exactly like that.
So John's like, you know what? Or was it John? Did I write James all the time? Okay, we're gonna call him Prince.
Mr.
Actually, maybe
Prince.
not. Okay, well, you know what? We're gonna use his middle name. His name's Charles. It's either John or I don't know. I wrote many different names for this dude.
She was just writing so fast and the furious.
I really was. I was in the middle of trying to make dinner with Teddy and then also write this down, and I kept losing my spots.
You guys can't see it, but normally her notes are really nice and clean, and these ones are just fucking atrocious.
Well,
She was picking on my chicken scratch in a notebook. This bitch wrote on an iPad.
Here's the thing. They have a premium version of this app, and it's a one-time charge of like $8. So I got it, and it gives you a whole bunch of different pens. So I was trying to find a good pen that I liked, and I couldn't.
And
get
this one,
this one was just
failed.
Yeah, I don't know. I need to turn the thickness of it down a little bit, and then I think it'll be nice. But he was like, okay, you know what? Let's move in together. So they moved in together in 1995. She really wanted to get married because I think she was raised in like kind of a religious household. She's like, we should get married, and he's like, fuck no. And that's kind of when she's like, you know what? Fuck you. You don't want to get married with me. She frames him for stealing stuff from his work.
How?
I don't know. So she goes to his work, takes a bunch of shit, puts it in his car, and frames him for stealing from his job so he gets fired. But he also has like 3 kids of his own. So like they had like combined, so there's like 6 kids in this household.
Okay.
And he's like, you know what? The fuck you, and kicks her out of the house because it was his house. So
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. And then a few months go by, and she's like, you know what, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do that to you, like, take me back. And he's like, fine, but you're not fucking moving back in with me, like, we'll ease into this.
Yeah.
Then at some point in time, he did let her kind of come back, but she didn't really stay there regularly, from what I got. So, like, she was there, but she wasn't there.
So she'd, like, come spend the night once in a while.
I think so. I think it was just kind of, like, she spent a lot of her time there, but, like, she didn't have a lot of her stuff there. It wasn't really clear when, like, if she fully moved back in or not, because it kind of gets a little weird in the timeline here.
I mean, it's one of those situations sometimes where you spend the night and you never don't spend the night.
That's how I moved in with Teddy.
Like, that's how I moved in with Drew.
Yeah, that's how I moved in with Teddy in high school.
Yeah. Well,
so, February 2000, this is kind of when things start. I was going to say, this is when things start to get intense, but they're kind of already intense. This girl is just intense.
And little Spitfire.
Yeah. Well, so, see, here I wrote James. So, him and Knight get into an argument, and it led to her, like, getting so pissed that she tried to fucking stab him in the chest. And he's smart. He gets a restraining order out on her, because he's like, I don't want her fucking around, like, coming back to me and like, the kids and everything like that and hurting me.
No, seriously, leave me alone.
Yeah, like, get the fuck away from me. February 29th, 2000. It was a leap year. Woo. He's asleep, up in his bed, his kids are asleep. Knight lets herself into his house.
When did she make a key?
I don't know. See, this is where it's weird, because she, like, the article goes, oh yeah, she let herself into the house. So it's like, I don't know if she...
Was it like a secret key, or did he know
I
she
don't
had
know.
a key,
like,
or...
Because he got the restraining order. I don't know if they, like, kind of made up on the down low or something like that, because she comes in, she showers, she makes herself dinner, she starts watching TV, and then she's like, you know what? I'm gonna go pay him a visit. Goes and wakes him up, and they bone. They have sex. I'm sorry, if someone I had a restraining order came into my house and was like, you wanna do it? I'd be like, fuck no, get out. Like, what?
I just want you to understand, you guys didn't have to see what I had to see right there.
My chicken wings.
She looked down on her microphone with the most aggressive chicken wings I have ever seen.
Oh, man. If we ever do video, this is going to be great. They're just going to see me doing weird hand motions. It's going to be me doing a lot of jazz hands. So, yeah, they're in the middle of boning. And then, see, this is where this part, because you remember that she had the butcher knives above the bed? See, this is where I don't know.
But that was above her bed.
Yeah.
This is his house.
So I'm assuming she brought them with. And I don't know if, like, this is where it gets weird of, like, did she have some of her stuff in this house? Was it a combined house that she got kicked out of? This is where it gets kind of fuzzy with
But
that.
it takes time to get a restraining order, so why would he have just left her stuff all over the place if that restraining order was in effect?
So I'm going to assume that she probably, like, brought them up and, like, sat them on the nightstand before.
I would imagine so. Depending on the headboard, maybe she, like, laid them out on the headboard or something. I mean,
so, she's like, oh, that was fun. Nice sex, buddy. Takes a knife and stabs him 37 times.
Okay.
And then this is where...
Does that count as going out with a bang?
I guess, I mean,
I
hope that... This is going to sound really
that
weird, but I really hope the dude, like, at least orgasmed before getting stabbed, because
I realized this was going to come across as, like, super lighthearted, but, like, when I'm a little horrified by things, like, I try to lighten the mood with humor. Like, that's my panic action.
We have really dark humor, so we can make light of these things. But, like, at the same time, she stabbed him 37 times in the chest. That's not the worst thing she did to him. That is the very...
That was just the beginning?
The beginning. Like, it's so light. Like, if she just stopped it 37 times, like, you'd be like, oh, shit, like, that's a lot of rage.
That's a lot of rage, yeah.
But, like, it's nothing compared to what she does next. Because keep in mind, she worked at a fucking slaughterhouse her whole life.
No.
She drags him down to the living room. She brought a fucking meat hook home from work. Hung it up in the living room. Hung him up in the living room.
The kids are still living in this house.
The kids are still in the house.
No.
She skins him. Cuts off his head. Starts carving off chunks. And this is where I'm going to talk about...
Yeah, cow.
Just cutting off stalks. And this is where I'm going to talk about our snack for the day.
Yeah.
Fried zucchini.
So it was delicious. This, believe it or not, was the first recipe that I didn't have to make. Kate made it.
Yeah.
At my house. We were talking about how slippery copper pots are.
Yeah.
Really weird conversation, but it was zucchini fried in butter with a little salt and pepper.
Yeah, it's really
nice,
good. Cut it
nice,
really
quick,
thinly
little,
though, so
easy
then it gets
snack.
nice. Yeah. I bring up zucchini because she, cut off chunks, had a pot of boiling water and broth and potatoes and pumpkins and beets and zucchini, cabbage and squash, and made up some gravy to go with it and cooked him.
Man-meat soup.
Man-made soup. Hence why I brought up stew originally.
Yeah, there's no way in hell I was making a stew in like an hour while trying to
She made herself a plate. But when after the fact of when investigators went, they saw that it was only half eaten, so she couldn't finish her plate. She set the table all nice, put his body in the middle of the table, had dishes set up with his kids' name cards, sitting in front of these pieces of stew that she made of their father, put them there.
Please tell me the kids didn't eat anything.
No, the kids did not eat anything, but that was her intentions. She took a whole bunch of fucking pills and passed out. Wakes up. Kids come down. They call 911. She gets arrested. She's like, oh, I don't know what happened. My boyfriend, he's dead. Whoa, what happened? I tried to play it off that she didn't remember. Because I really want to think that she probably tried to kill herself with that.
Probably.
But, she just passed out, said that she didn't remember killing him. But she really wanted to have the kids eat him.
She didn't remember killing him, but she wanted the kids to eat him.
At some point she did turn around and be like, I remember it.
Oh, okay.
She was originally pleading, not guilty. She then turned around and also changed her plea and pleaded guilty and became the first woman in Australia to get the life sentence without the possibility of parole. And she's still alive to this day.
I'll
This
be
happened in
honest with you.
2000.
That's a situation where I would be okay with the death penalty.
Oh yeah, this girl's batshit fucking crazy. This is when you.
It's someone with zero impulsivity control, and that's
empathy.
What makes it so dangerous. Just one single and you're.
Yeah. I mean, this
Wow.
one could have been a short one. It's only 30 minutes. I do have another one if you want to do a twofer. Surprise little twofer.
Well, how about we take a short commercial break, and then we can do a twofer.
Surprise.
Our second twofer of the matinee.
Yeah.
And of course, it's you that's doing them because you just research so much.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll be back after a short commercial break.
Do you have friends that also like true crime? Feel free to help us share this podcast. We're a new podcast. We're a small podcast. But as of right now, Editing Ari is telling you that we have 33 unique listeners, which is actually a bit more than I was expecting it to be for such a young podcast. But if we can hit 50 unique listeners probably a week or so after this episode comes out, then we're gonna make stickers. Yeah, stickers.
What a lovely commercial break.
Welcome back. So
Welcome
part
back.
2 of the twofer. What are we
Part 2
talking
of
about for
the
this?
surprise twofer. So this one, it's a nice short sweet one, just to, you know.
Well, there's no
sneak
such
in
thing
here.
as sweet and true crime stories.
No.
Well, there is such a thing as sweet. There's like candy killers and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah. Anyway,
Ooh, like when we can do the one on the Butcher Baker. Or I will probably do that one soon.
because now you're thinking about it.
Yeah. So this one I had found while looking for the one that would be episode 1. I wanted to say episode 2, but no, because Staircase didn't end up being episode 1.
Correct.
So I found this one because, you know, the main dude of the cottage cheese hair fetish dude was named Luigi, and I was like, you know, looking up Luigi to find it. And I found this one of a case that happened in North Carolina at a restaurant called Luigi's. Are you judging my drink?
Well, I can't try it because it'll kill me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's empty anyway, but it'll kill me.
Yeah, because it has coconut in it. That's why I didn't offer you
You're
to try
telling
it.
people my weakness.
Oh no! People are gonna start throwing coconuts at you.
Ow.
That would really fucking hurt. Don't
be-
throw coconuts
That'd
at
be more
people.
painful than allergic.
Yeah, that's true.
So, you were looking for Luigi the cottage cheese hairdresser.
Yeah, and I found Luigi the restaurant in North Carolina.
Okay.
In Fayetteville? I don't know.
Fayetteville.
Fayette. Okay. I'm bad at pronunciations. So, I mean, character of this one, his name is Kenneth Jr. French.
We call him Frenchie.
Frenchie. No, I'm gonna call him Ken.
Okay.
In light of the fact that the Barbie movie just released today.
Don't sue us, Barbie.
That's who is. So
Not his name is Ken.
not that it really matters. He was born January 15th, 1971. You don't really get a whole lot of his backstory. Just for the fact of how my notes are written, this one's going to kind of jump around. So I'm going to tell you the crime first, and then we'll go back into the reasoning, because it's kind of how it came out.
Okay.
So, August 6th, 1993, he was 22 at the time. So he was my age.
1993, I was a little over a year old.
I believe my mom was graduating high school.
I was
This
a little
year.
over a year old.
Nice. So, it's the restaurant, Luigi's. Kenneth walks in, kind of looks around, decides, you know what? This is a good spot. Pulls out 3 guns. Lays them out.
I'm just gonna start killing people. That seems to be
Yeah.
like a thing, and I don't
The
understand
main-
how that
yeah.
seems like a good idea.
The main weapon that he chose to use was a pump shotgun.
Okay.
I don't know what kind of shot he was using. I'm gonna assume it was either slugs or birdshot.
I mean, to inflict damage, probably maybe like a buckshot or something.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it could be any number of things,
Mhm.
especially with shotguns in general. There's so many different types because
Yeah.
they're very versatile hunting weapons.
Yeah, so what he's just started shouting makes this one also a little weird. This one kind of gets into race and, like, the LGBTQ community and everything like
so
that.
So he was being, like, super discriminatory and...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so, he was shouting about President Clinton and homosexuals in the military.
Okay.
And just started shooting at people at random. He killed 4 and wounded 6 before he was shot. He was wounded in the leg and, like, shot in the jaw. I believe he did die from these injuries.
Was it police intervention that ended this?
Yeah.
Or okay.
He had killed the restaurant owners, Peter and Ethel. Oh, wow, I'm really bad. So we're just going to say Peter and Ethel. They were 65 and 73.
Oh, I was going to say Ethel. They sound like a super sweet old couple.
The other victim was a 26-year-old named Wesley Scott. And the other one, the last victim that had passed away, was 46-year-old James Kidd. Kidd died while laying over his son, shielding him. And the son ended up surviving. Wasn't hurt.
That did actually happen a fair amount with the McDonald's one, too. It doesn't surprise me when it comes to these shootings.
If I had a kid, I'd human shield.
Right.
Oh, never mind. French did not die from his injuries. Oh. He was charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and 6 counts of assault with a deadly weapon with the intent to kill, because he did injure. Because if you injure somebody... it doesn't get charged, like it's charged differently than obviously a murder, and it's more of like an attempted murder and like assault, and depending on the states. A lot of places will just do it with a assault charge. A lot of other ones will do attempted murder charges, but they kind of tend to have similar sentencings and stuff like that.
Okay.
He was sentenced to 4 consecutive life terms plus 35 years.
Okay.
He's still in prison, he's still alive, he's still kicking around. But witnesses that survived reported that during the shootings he was shouting, "I'll show you, Clinton, about letting gays into the army." Because he was past military. Actually, I think he was current military. So a little bit of what had happened that night. August 5th, so like the day before, after work, Ken went to the bar with 3 of his friends at Fort Bragg. Fort Bragg. Yeah.
Big military fort. Lots of military people know about it. You can ask Tommy about it.
Yeah, well, I probably will. He might have been there because he was in North Carolina for a while.
Very likely. You might want to move your phone off of the table, and I'm going to leave this in the podcast because that vibration probably came across on your microphone.
Maybe. It's just a Snapchat of Anthony probably thinking I stole his cat. I did not. It's just your cat, Gypsy.
It is my cat, Anthony.
He got fucking shit-faced and went back to the barracks at like 3 a.m. of the day of the shootings. That morning at around 9 a.m. he woke up, visited some of his friends, played with their kids, was having kind of a good time, got a haircut, rented some videos, returned to his trailer that he was living in, started drinking again, watching TV, and started watching The Unforgiven.
I don't know it.
It's an older movie.
Okay.
And started like, whoa, I could be like this movie, and like imitating it and recreating the scenes and like drinking more, watching it and everything like that. At some point, he called an old girlfriend who, when talked to by police, said that he sounded like really strange on the phone. Okay. Like he was acting really out of character.
Okay.
And he started crying because he also called his mom and started crying to her, apologizing for not preventing like the abuse that he had witnessed his father did. So his father was abusive towards his mom. I couldn't find anywhere that said if he was abused, But basically, he was, like, crying to his mom, saying that it was, like, his fault that he didn't prevent it and everything like that. And she's like, no, sweetie, like, you didn't do this, you know, trying to calm him down.
I feel like that does end up being a pretty impactful thing, especially on young boys, seeing their moms get hurt because they grow up thinking, why wasn't I strong enough to protect you?
It's probably why he joined the military, too, just
it's
to,
possible.
you know.
It's possible.
And then also said that he wanted to prevent the abuse and the rape of his sister from his father. So his father was, you know, molesting his sister, which makes me assume that he might have also been, you know, beating on him
or something.
Yeah. And his mother, you know, sat there still trying to calm him down, like, hey, this isn't your fault, don't blame yourself, you know, like, it's okay, like, he's gone, like, you don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
But after calling his mom, like, after that conversation, he does not remember anything of what
So he doesn't
occurred.
remember, like, grabbing the guns and going in and shooting people?
Nope. Because he was drunk when he did it. Like, he was blackout drunk, because, like, his alcohol content, like, in his, like, body was... He was pretty... He was 2 shits to the wind, like, he was gone. So he doesn't remember putting the guns in his truck. Doesn't remember, shooting an older woman, going to the restaurant. Doesn't remember, like, he went back home after, like, going... I think he went out and, like, shot some random woman and, like, just went home. If my notes are correct. Went to a party where it was reported that he was really erratic and that he was, like, drinking... Like, he was carrying, like... He was basically, like, shotgunning 2 beers at a time. Like, he was just fucking blasted. And he had went through a whole bottle of Wild Turkey whiskey.
That's a strong whiskey.
It's
an aggressive whiskey.
Yeah, that's one that you drink and you don't want to remember the night before.
Right.
Like, so that's why he was drunk on going to this restaurant. It was a whole bunch of beer.
We're not saying that the whiskey made him do it.
No.
And we're not saying that because he was watching that show or that movie or whatever, that made him do it.
This is just, like, showing that I do kind of believe him not remembering it.
And also, you know,
But that doesn't excuse it.
I've always kind of felt that, yeah, a lot of people do a lot of stupid things when they're drunk, but I feel like, you know, sometimes alcohol lets...
The way that I look at it is, drunk you is the true sober you. So it's like when you're drunk, you're like, you don't hide how you are.
Yeah, drunk you is a representation of you if you weren't like, oh, well, I don't want to do that because I might embarrass myself, or I don't want to sing that song at karaoke because people might not like me.
I think the quote that I'm thinking of is drunk words are sober.
More true than what your sober self could say,
sober,
or something
the
like
sober
that.
used truth or something like that.
Yeah,
it's some weird
like that.
Someone will know the quote I'm trying to say, but
somebody will walk up to us at work and be like, "Did you mean this?"
It was overheard by kids at the party that he was, like, telling a whole bunch of people that he wanted to go shoot and kill black people and all that kind of and all that. So he was, like, kind of racist and kind of homophobic, and he was... I'm sorry, the question I just got from Teddy is really weird.
Teddy, why are you asking weird questions?
He's asking if you have baby powder.
I do not have baby powder.
No, sorry, Teddy.
You're welcome, Teddy. This is staying in the episode.
So, he then told his friend that he wanted to go to a part of the town that was frequented by blacks and that a black man had raped his sister, even though it was technically his dad.
There's a lot of people out there, like, next week's episode is going to, the one after this episode is going to end up being about the pizza bomber, the collar bomber, Brian Wells. Well, the case of Brian Wells.
Yeah.
And they made him tell the police that it was black guys that did it. And for some reason, it seems like there was a trend for a long time, and kind of still is, of just saying, well, the black guys did it. And I'm not sure why everyone tries to play the race card.
I think the fact that this one was kind of like, I don't really, would you really consider North Carolina like the South?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like they just have that history there and that stigma, and and this happened in like the 90s, so it's like, what, 30 years
it was
like,
long before they took the Confederate flag away.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And there's still a lot of people that are upset about that, and I'm gonna stay out of politics.
I'm assuming this party happened between him going out to the bar with his friends and then him going home to the trailer and like watching the movie and everything like that, and then going out and shooting.
So he was like pre-wasted, and then
this dude went on a drunken bender for basically 2 days straight, is what I'm getting from it.
Okay.
And then he went and shot a bunch of people just because he was drunk and upset about the fact that, I think it was when Clinton said that, like, made the,
It was probably something to do with, like, don't ask, don't tell. Like,
yeah,
you can be in the military if you're gay, just don't talk about it.
Yeah, I think it was that, like, during that time and everything like that. I don't know. I wasn't alive.
It doesn't matter who you bone as long as you serve your country.
Said that he was a product of violent and chaotic home, and that he had, like, accepted, like, he
well, it's also another situation of no impulse control.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing is that even though, like, he said he didn't remember anything, French did, like, be like, he didn't try to deny that he did any of it, because, I mean, like, obviously you can't really be like, that wasn't me.
Right.
But he, like, full-heartedly took full responsibility for, like, what he had did, and, like, I think he pled guilty to it. Like, he didn't try to get out of jail or any kind of thing like that. He was just like, you know what, I fucked up.
I wonder if he remembers it now that it's been a while. I mean, some people say that those memories will come back eventually, but some people also never have them come back. I wonder if he has to live with more with the horror of what he's done than if he had just never remembered it, you know?
I wish the article that I'd read on it because the article that I read was just basically a digitalized version of a newspaper clipping from when that had occurred.
Yep, that's how I got the one for the Loria Manor.
So it's just like there has to be more behind of why he did what he did. I feel like, without a doubt, I know he was probably extremely homophobic and extremely racist.
He definitely presented that with what he was yelling. And
I think he just went to a party, got really fucking drunk, and went, I'm gonna show them, because part of town where he said that, like, oh, I want to go where blacks and, like, all that kind of stuff is, like, frequenting, is where Luigi's restaurant was located.
Okay.
So...
And I'm assuming it was, like, an Italian restaurant?
Yeah. So, that's the case of Kenneth French and shooting up the restaurant of Luigi's. It's just one of those ones where it's like, why? Like, he just was drunk. Like...
Drunk with no impulse control and a lot of unhealthy racist opinions. Or discriminatory opinions, even.
He clearly was going through some mental stuff. The fact that he called his mom and it was like... first he, like, tried to make amends with the ex-girlfriend, you know, try to apologize to her for his behavior and whatnot. Probably was his high school sweetheart, because he's only 22.
Probably then.
And the fact that he, like, called his mom and everything like that. So I'm wondering if he just kind of wanted to go out with a bang and thought that he was going to die that night or something. Who knows? But he's still alive today, still serving in North Carolina. He's 52 now.
And he's probably going to die in there. As
you
said, it was, what,
four consecutive life
plus
terms.
35?
Yeah. I don't think he has the option of parole.
I would imagine not. I don't feel like parole should be offered to anything that involves murder.
Yeah.
Like outright murder. Like manslaughter, manslaughter typically means like it was an accident, somebody died kind of thing. But like not even premeditated. You can't really it was kind of premeditated. I mean, he talked about it earlier in the night.
Right.
It was another
I really
case
do
where
think that it's
just
situational based
that
because some people
impulsive control, like that lack of impulse control, is what made him so dangerous. The fact that he couldn't stop himself.
Right. Because I mean, some people do go to jail for murder that get the possibility of parole just because, like the Gypsy Rose case, and that's one I kind of want to go into because I believe in December she gets out.
Yes, so the Gypsy Rose case was the one where her mom was Munchausen syndrome, trying to get her to. Okay, yeah,
and
we'll definitely go into that one in the future.
She went to jail for murder, but she wasn't actually the one that did it. She was just
her
like
boyfriend.
It was it was like the conspiracy to commit murder. But she still got. She didn't get as heavy of a sentence, but I think she did get like what 15 years.
Well, we will discuss that when we talk about the Gypsy Rose case.
I think that might be the next one I do, like a heavy one into.
All right.
Because that one's woo.
Well.
So that was a nice surprise twofer.
A surprise twofer, and since it's a surprise twofer, I don't know if this one's gonna have a doozy scale because I think I might only be able to put one poll on there.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we already know that the one was kind of a doozy because she was batshit crazy, so we already know that one's probably gonna be a solid 4 or 5.
Oh, definitely. So go ahead and let us know what you think these cases were on the doozy scale.
Oh, I guess a snack for the Luigi one. Just pick your favorite Italian
pick
meal.
your favorite pasta.
Oh, we could do that poll. We could be like, "What's your favorite Italian dish? Are you more of a pasta or a
pizza?
Well, wasn't pizza like not actually made and invented in Italy? Oh, well, what's your favorite? Do you like pasta or pizza?
Like a Neapolitan.
Oh yeah, where it's like a deconstructed pizza, basically.
Yeah, modern day pizza with the pizza sauce on it is not what pizza originally was. It was originally like olive oil and tomatoes and mozzarella cheese on flatbreads. I believe, which also sounds delicious.
Yeah, so we'll put a poll there. What's your favorite?
Yeah, we'll figure something out, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye. Bye.